morning, everybody. Welcome to yoga. We're going to start laying down, and if you happen to have a strap of any sort, keep that near you because I think we're going to use that a little bit. We're going to work with a lot of kind of straightening and bending, mostly the legs, so that we can explore that full extension of the legs in particular, so that we don't start to lose the flexibility through there. So start by laying down. You can have your legs straight, your knees bent, if that makes sense for you. And then just feel your body on the mat. We don't often choose to lay flat on the floor, especially on a hard surface. And so it can really give us some information. We start to feel the natural curves of the body, the space behind the neck, the space behind the lower back, the way our shoulders rest on the floor, the way our hips line up. Maybe the way our legs lay out on the floor. Are they more internally rotated? Are they more externally rotated? Do they feel pretty even? And then let one hand come to the low belly, one hand to your upper belly or up toward the chest, either one. And feel your breath. And imagine, if you could, that every inhale, that breath is drawing up from your feet, all the way up the legs, all the way up the torso, all the way to the crown of the head. And the exhale moves from the crown of the head down through the face, the throat, the torso, the legs, all the way back out the feet. And imagine that drawing up and then that releasing or extending out through your breath. All the while feeling your belly move, feeling your chest move, feeling the body ever so slightly, almost rising up with the inhale and softening back down to the floor with the exhale. Drawing the breath in through the feet, exhaling it back out. And notice how this feels, as if you were drawing the breath through a long straw, taking a really deep drink of breath all the way up the body and all the way back out. Good, one more here. And then bend your knees. Let your feet come to the floor. Let both arms go overhead if that's okay through your shoulders. And you can have the palms any way that feels good. So mine are palms face up, maybe yours are palms face in. Just see what feels good for your shoulders. And then arch the back as if you were doing a really deep cow pose. So your low back moves way away from the floor, and then exhale and draw it all the way back down to the floor. Everything flat to the floor. Good. And then keep that up. Nice deep arch. The hips stay on the floor, the head, shoulders stay on the floor, and exhale it all out.
Squeezing it in. 3 more right here. And exhale. 2 more. Reaching, arching. Exhaling, pressing it all down. 1 more. And exhale it down. And then see if you can find the middle way. See if you can find neutral. Straighten your right leg only. And let your left hand come back down to the side. So your left foot's on the floor, your left hand's down at your side. It is simply your right arm and your right leg that are reaching. And then squeeze the low belly, lift your right foot a few inches off the floor, squeeze your right glute, lift your right arm off the floor a couple of inches, maybe the palm turns in so that's easier on the shoulder. Good, and breathe. Inhale right here. Exhale, lift everything up to the ceiling. Maybe things touch, maybe they don't. Maybe the knee is more bent. Maybe the leg is straight, but then exhale, let it all go. Or inhale, let it all down. Exhale, squeeze it all in. Inhale, release it down toward the floor. Good, 3 more. Inhale, reach. It doesn't have to touch. Exhale, straighten. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, straighten it down. We got 1 more right here. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lengthen, listen up. And then inhale first. Exhale, elbow to knee. Your upper body stays down on the floor. And then inhale, open it back up. Exhale, elbow to knee, same side. Exhale, straighten. We got 3 more. Inhale, squeeze, or exhale, squeeze. I keep getting that one backwards. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze it back to center. Inhale, open. Last one right here. Inhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale, stretch it as far away from each other as you can. And let it drop down to the floor. Good. Slide your right hand down, your right foot to the floor, your left leg long, and your left arm overhead. Same thing on this side. So start by simply lifting your left leg a few inches off the floor. Notice how that engages your belly right away. And then lift your left arm or left hand off the floor. Notice how that changes what the shoulder has to do. Press into your right foot gently. Inhale first. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze it together. Doesn't have to touch. You can just bring it up to your level. Try to keep the leg straight. Good. Exhale as it comes to center. Inhale as it opens wide. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, open. 1 more here. Squeeze it in. And open it up. Exhale, knee to elbow. And open. 5 of them here. Inhale, squeeze. Notice what's going on the right side, right? Nice stability here. Squeeze it in. Open it wide. 2 more. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And open. Good. Last one here. Squeeze it in. Open it wide. Hold it here. Just reach limb away from limb. And let it all go. Good. Release both legs, both arms back down to the sides. And then just notice how your body feels. For me, my lower back feels a little calmer. It's a little closer to the floor with my body spread out nice and wide. Good. And then grab your strap. Bend both knees, both feet on the floor. Wrap the strap around your right foot. And just hold on to it with your right hand. I've got my right hand outside my knee. And I'm bringing my knee toward my chest, but I'm also gonna try to keep my sacrum on the floor, which means that I'm keeping a tiny space behind my lower back. So a little bit tricky, right? If that knee's too close to my chest, the back goes flat. Move it away a little bit, the back has some space to it. Try to keep that space. And then straighten your leg, your right leg, any amount. And then bend it, but don't lose the curve of your low back. Good. Straighten the leg as much as you can. It doesn't have to be straight up. Bend it. Good. 2, 3 more. Straighten. Notice if you're tempted to flatten your low back. Keep the arch there. Straighten and bend. Good. 1, 2 more. Straighten and bend. Last one. Straighten and then bend. And then bring the knee all the way to chest and feel your low back flatten. Begin to straighten your left leg toward the floor and keep reaching that left leg until you come back to an arch in your low back. So it's almost like a little bit of a teeter-totter, right? Good, bend your left knee, bring the knee toward your chest. So you're rolling up and down on your low back. Straighten the leg, keep straightening, arch. Your right knee stays bent toward chest. Good, 1 more. Just bring your left knee to chest. And then straighten it, create some space. Smooth down that left thigh so it's even closer to the floor. Release your strap. Grab your hands behind your right thigh. Keep your left leg grounded, everybody. Keep a little space behind your lower back and just see where your right leg will straighten. Don't force it. Don't lose the grounding of your left leg. Don't lose the space behind your lower back. I should be able to throw a few blueberries under there without them being crushed. Good, breathe, and then exhale. Release the right leg. Both legs straight on the floor. Again, notice the hips. You notice the lower back. We start to release that tension, right? All right, bend both knees. Grab your strap, take it around your left foot. And take the left leg up and then bend it. So strap is in your left hand. I'm just hanging on to it as I bend and straighten my left leg. Reaching it up and bending. Good, reach and bend. 2 more. Reach it up and bend it. And reach and bend it. Hold that bent knee. Keep it in toward chest. Take your right leg, maybe bring it toward chest, and then straighten it out toward the floor. And then bring your knee back to chest. And straighten the right leg. Bring your right knee to chest. Straighten it toward the floor. You got it. And bring it in. Straighten it. One more time right here. Squeeze it in. Straighten it out really nice and long. And then keep reaching the right foot. Keep reaching. Create that space behind your lower back. Ground your right leg and feel that as you keep that space behind your lower back and ground the leg. Good. And then bend it 1 more time. Bring it in. Stretch it super long. Keep going. You're just rocking that pelvis. Let's do that 3 more times. Squeeze it in, rock it. Straighten it out. Reach it. Good. And bring it in. Straighten it long. Last one. Straighten it long. Create that space behind your lower back. Smooth out your front of your right thigh as if you could pat it down to the floor even more. Release your strap. Take your hands behind your right or your left thigh and straighten the left leg any amount that you can. Good. 4 more of those. Bend your knee, left knee, straighten it up. Good, bend it. There should be a little space behind your back, but not a lot of space. And bend 2 more. Straighten it any amount that you can. Bend it. Last one. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And bend that knee and straighten both legs and feel your body. So what I see happening with just some students is a less and less ability to get really good extension in the legs and in the knees and the knee joints, right? So that there's a constant bend in the knees. So that's kind of where we're playing today. Bend both knees, both feet to the floor. Bring both knees to 90 degrees. So your feet are off the floor. My hip to knees, my knees to my ankles. Good, and what I want you to do here, maybe start with your hands underneath your sacrum, just to give your low back a little extra support. Shoulders are down to the floor. Good. As your both knees are bent, they're in toward your chest. This one's a little harder to explain. Straighten your right leg toward the floor, straighten your left leg up to the ceiling. It doesn't have to be fully straight, just see where you go. And then bend both back to center. Switch sides. Your left leg goes straight, your right leg goes up to the ceiling straight and bend. Good, I think you're getting it now. Straighten your right leg long toward the floor, left leg up, bring it in. Switch sides. Good, and then just don't think about it as much. Maybe let it be a little bit more fluid. As you straighten, you're bringing them in. You're straightening them in opposite directions. If you don't need the hands under your sacrum, just press them out to the side. If you want a little bit more work, the arms go to cactus. And then we got to work those ribs. And even more, we've got to work torso even more. Good, try to relax your jaw and keep those legs moving. Moving, I sounded like a cow just now. Move those legs. Good, straightening them in opposite directions. Good, you're almost done. Woo. Couple more, both sides. Stretch them, bring them in, stretch them, bring them in, keep them in toward chest. And just rock side to side. Release the arms if they went overhead. Good, back to the center, hands back under your sacrum. Your back of your neck is nice and long, your shoulders press down to the floor. Left leg goes up to the ceiling, hold. Squeeze the heck out of your belly. Straighten your right leg so it's hovering a few inches off the floor. And just notice how much extension your legs will allow for you. Don't force it, of course, don't force it, but just breathe. Good, 1, you're gonna stay here, 2 knees come back to chest. 3, the right leg lifts up, squeeze your belly. So both legs are straight up toward the ceiling. Left leg slowly lowers toward the floor, it can hover. Breathe. If you need to bend both knees, that's okay. As you straighten and lower one leg and then the other. Good, bring them up. No pain in your low back, no strain. Use your core. I hope you're still moving. One leg straightens down toward the floor and then it comes back up to meet the other leg and then that leg lowers. Woo! Hang in there, we're almost done. Breathe, let's do one more, both sides. Squeeze your belly, lower the other, squeeze your belly, and then bring both knees to chest and just circle out those ankles. Let both feet come to the floor, take your feet wide on your mat and windshield wiper the knees to one side and then the other side. Stretching it out. That's it. Just really get some nice movement here. Last one, both sides. The next time your knees are to the right, let them stay. Let them stay right there. Now draw your left hip kind of back in toward its socket so the left glute gets a little bit more active. Notice that that stretches the quad a little bit. Breathe. You're not trying to push that knee down to the floor or anything like that. You're just stretching it out, but you're almost drawing the femur bone back into the hip socket at the same time. And notice. Good. Maybe the left arm goes overhead. Maybe it stretches nice and long so that the fingertips go one direction and the left knee goes the other direction. Take a nice deep breath, everybody. And then release your left arm. Bring your knees back to center. Let the knees go over to the left. It's very helpful if the knees are wide or if the feet are wide, but if that hurts a knee, just walk it in till it doesn't hurt anymore. Allow those knees to fall to the left. Draw the right hip socket back in. It's almost more of an energetic move than it is a physical move, as I just kind of, it's almost like bringing a little suction cup here to squeeze that leg in. And then hold that, the right glute gets a little bit more active, the right arm overhead, stretching knee away from fingertips. Maybe take a good, nice, deep breath. And then release your right arm, release those knees back to center. And just one more here, soles of the feet together, and knees come out to the sides. Again, be mindful of the space behind your lower back. When I take my hand underneath, and for me, with the way my low back is, I should be able to pretty much put my hand under there, but there shouldn't be a lot more space than that. So if there is, just lift your hips, lengthen your lower back, and then release the hand out. Good, and feel that, just feel the legs rolling out to the side, external rotation, maybe rock the hips side to side, notice. Maybe the arms go overhead, maybe this just feels so good to lay here and let everything open up, elbows out to the sides, knees out to the side. Maybe this is not really feeling all that good at all because inner thighs are so tight or your hips are chatty, right? Just notice. And then squeeze your belly, squeeze your glutes, bring your knees back to center. Draw both knees to chest. Roll over to one side and press all the way up to a seat. See, already those legs feel nice and open. So your feet are to the front of your mat. If you can, I want you to drop down to your elbows. Now, it's not good for everybody. If that doesn't feel good, maybe stay on your hands, right? But if you can, drop to your elbows and maybe your tips of your fingers just barely sit underneath your hips, just so you feel them. And then draw both knees to chest and press one out as you keep the other one in. Good. And then see if that straight leg can really extend without hyperextending, right? The opposite of always bent is a hyperextension. Good, and switch. If this gets to be too much on your upper back, lower down to the floor. Good, push out, push out. Imagine that you're pushing pedals. So it's straight in front of you. And breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good, both knees to chest, push yourself up. Fingertips are behind you. Elbows are pressing back. Now, if that hand configuration doesn't work, go wide, okay? As long as you're not collapsing, that's perfectly fine with me. But draw the shoulders back, the elbows are bent, the belly squeezes, push it out. For 10, 9, bring the knees in, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, feel your belly, 2, And 1, good, bring it in, see if you can wrap your arms around your knees and keep your heels hovering off the floor. Lift your chest, find your breath. Take those hands behind your thighs. I mean, really like push your thighs into your hands, push your hands back in to your thighs. Begin to straighten the legs a little bit, lift your chest. Little bit of boat pose, right? No kidding, boat pose. Breathe. 1, stay here. 2, release one arm. Notice if you start to collapse. If you do, hands come right back here. Good, maybe release the other arm. Whew. Notice, breathe, squeeze the knees in. See if you can press them out. See if you can squeeze them in. See if you can press them out. Whew. Good, 3 more, squeeze them in. Press them out. Squeeze in. Press out. Last one. And press. And draw those knees together. Whew. And release it. Good, maybe sit with a little cross leg here if you can. If not, straighten the legs out a little bit. And do nice hip circles here. Just stretch it out. See, once I get something in my head, it shows up all kinds of different ways. Just breathe. Good, and then take yourself back to center. Let's take the left hand down to the side. Stretch side body by taking the right arm up. And breathe, and press down through the hip. Try to neutralize the ribs a little bit if you've been in the last few classes, right? Instead of reaching the ribs way out to the right, draw them into center a little bit. And breathe. And then push off your left hand, take both arms up, take the right hand down. And go to the right. Draw the left side ribs in just a little bit to strengthen those obliques and strengthen the muscles between the ribs. Breathe. Good. Take it center. Exhale. Let those hands come all the way down. Roll your shoulders. Good. And let's come to table pose. Have those blocks, if you have them right up at the front of your mat, because we're going to use those a little bit today. And then find this nice table pose. Press into your hands, watch the shoulders. Remember, you can hug that little beach ball between the elbows, but keep the collarbones nice and wide. Notice if you're overarching the back, bring it into a more neutral line, and then press your right leg back. Lift the right leg. Now, wrist issues, come on down to your elbows here. All right, for now, that's perfectly wonderful. But press into your hands or into your forearms and bend your knee so that your heel comes to your butt. And straighten. Good, squeeze it in, watch for overarching, press it out. We've got 3 more, squeeze it in. Press it out, when you press it out, really press it out. Good, 2, press out. Last one, squeeze and straighten. Good, we're not quite done with that leg, of course we're not. I want you to inhale, maybe lift and look up a little. Exhale, bring your knee to your chest, squeeze it in as far as it'll go for you. And then press out fully, look up. Exhale, squeeze it in, knee toward chin, and reach it out. 3 more, squeeze it in. Exhale, reach it out. There is beauty in slowing down. So we are going slow. Lift, last one, squeeze it in. Exhale, lift it long. Good, and then find neutral again, toes point down. Left arm reaches out. Find your breath here, everyone. That's it. Good, and just for fun, elbow to opposite knee, just 5 of them. Squeeze them in. This is harder balance-wise. And reach out. Squeeze it in. This is fun, right? And out. And 3. Out. 4.
on back only if it makes sense for child's pose. And once you're there, maybe you curl out your wrists, opening and closing, shaking them out. Good, just breathe here. All right, come on up. Plant the hands or come to elbows. Press into your thumb and index fingers. Press the left leg out. Your knees or hips width apart again. The belly tones in. Lift your left leg. So first, hamstring curls, right? So we bring the heel toward the glutes and then straighten fully for you. Notice, keep going. As you do so, the glutes are active, the belly is active. We got 2 more here. Squeeze, nice Betty. Straighten, squeeze, and straighten. Good, and then neutral pelvis. Maybe lift a little higher and look up. Exhale, knee to chest. Woo, squeeze it in. And lift. And 4. Lift it up. 3. Squeeze. 2. And up. Last one. Squeeze it in, everybody. And lift it out. And then level out the hips. Reach into that right arm. Reach into the back muscles. Take the right arm out as you press into your left hand. Woo, balancing table. All right, you know what's next. Elbow to knee, optional for 5. And open for 4. Breathe. 3. 2. And 1. Reach it out. Lower the hand. Lower the knees. Maybe child's pose. Maybe puppy stretch. Right? Oh. You know, all of our joints, knees, hips, wrists, elbows, knuckles, right? They all, they all get, I think, a little crankier as we get older. But the danger is that with that crankiness, we quit using them, right? We use them less and less and less so that we lose some range of motion. So I'm not saying that you do anything that causes pain, but explore where those joints, elbows, right, shoulders, where they'll go for you safely so that we can keep on moving. All right, come on up, everybody. Grab your blocks, place them at the front of your mat, and bring your right knee forward. Simple, simple lunge here. All we're doing to start is just stretching out. The left side front leg, right, that back leg, right foot is forward, but we're also finding that nice straight up ankle to knee on the right side, some comfort here. Again, what I see sometimes is, especially my more flexible students, what do we want to do? We want more stretch, so we start to really dump the left hip down toward the floor. I don't think that's really healthy for the hip. So if that's your temptation, squeeze your left glute to keep that joint, the integrity of the joint. So notice that. Your hands are on your blocks should feel stable. So if your block is half on, half off your mat, make sure it's on. If they feel wobbly to you, lower them to the lower level. Either way. All right. So from here, we're going to play with that straightening and bending again. So as we lift the back knee, we straighten both legs. So lift up, straighten your front leg, straighten your back leg, coming into a variation of pyramid pose. And then release both down to the floor. Good. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten, lifting that back knee if that's appropriate. And bend. Another option, by the way, is just to straighten the front leg. Leave the back one down and bend. Good. 2 more. Straighten and bend it. Last one, straighten and bend. Nice job, everybody. Good, slide your right leg back. Slide your left foot forward. Let's go to the other side. And take a moment, right? Take a moment to check your alignment. Check how this hip feels, to engage the glute muscle, to feel this right hip stretch. Breathe. There was an interesting article, they were talking about hip openers and how many students request hip openers. And the instructor, the teacher said all that does is open the front of the hip when we do a lot of hip openers, but it really tightens the side and back of the hip. So we really need all of it, right? Not just one thing. All right, so here we are. We've been breathing, right? We've been stretching. When you're ready, either the knee stays down or it lifts up. If it lifts up, flip your toes under. And exhale as the legs straighten. Inhale, bend, chest lifts. Exhale, straighten. And bend. Good, straighten. Bend it. Two more. Straighten it all up. Bend it and lower. Last one. Straighten. And lower. Good, and pause. Slide your left knee back to meet your right. Set your blocks to the side for a moment. Walk the hands forward and come down to puppy stretch. Good, just breathe, everybody. Stretch it out, maybe stretch out your side body. And then come on up. Find yourself in a downward facing dog. And from down dog, walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Widen your collarbones, engage your belly, lengthen through your chest. Bend your knees, hands to knees. And come on up. Whew. And once you're up, roll it out. Roll, roll, roll. Shake it out. Good, and then take your feet a little bit wider than your normal hips width apart. You know, we talked about hips width apart, that's always from this front as it's bone, anterior superior iliac spines. Those bones go down the center of your thighs, center of your shins, center of your feet. We're going just a little, there's your anatomy lesson for the day, or your alignment lesson. Your feet are a little bit wider, and here's what I want you to be mindful of. Don't let the knees drop in, don't let them splay out. Keep them pretty much straight over those feet. Hands come to your hips. I want you to sit back in the imaginary chair. Chest is gonna come forward, right? That's okay. But keep the knees from dropping into the middle. And breathe. So we're bending and then pushing into the feet and straightening. I know this seems simple, but I want you to push down into your feet to lift up. When you lift up, squeeze the hips, glutes, press down. Watch the knees, everybody, and squeeze up. Straighten the legs. Bend, look at those knees, make sure they're not dropping in, and push into those feet. Good, we've got 5 more. Squeeze down. Push into the feet, lift up. Drop down, you should be sitting way back. And up, squeeze, 3 more. Down, and up. If anybody tries to keep count of my count, you know it's always off. And up, good, last one, drop down. Push it. And bring the feet together. Right, very interesting to me when you focus on those feet and like, right, dig down into the earth and use those muscles to come up. It makes a big difference. All right, come on back to the front of your mat. We're gonna come back to those in a little bit. Joy, joy. Inhale, reach up. Exhale all the way down to the floor. Soften both knees. Step back, right foot. Grab your blocks. Hands to your blocks. Your right knee is up or down. In fact, let's all start down. Let's all start down. Right knee down, left leg forward. And then bring both hips back equally, both hips back equally, until your left leg is pretty much straight. Don't hyperextend. And then lift your left foot so that you're just on the heel. And then draw your left hip or your left femur bone, your left thigh bone into the hip. Try to have your left foot pretty much straight ahead. Draw the leg into the hip socket. You should feel a pretty sweet stretch here of the hamstrings. But then the torso lengthens over the leg. And breathe. Just find this. Right? We move too quickly one pose to the other pose. We're not going to get it figured out. We're not going to go, where's my stretch? What's happening? One, stay here. Two, take the blocks and put them on the highest level and experiment with the idea. One hand stay on, that's perfectly wonderful. Two, maybe your forearms come to the block. If it feels tippy, don't stay here. This is super deep. It's super deep for me. Big, deep breath, everybody. And then hands come back to your blocks, your chest lifts, your front knee bends. Ooh. And go into a nice, deep front lunge. Good. And release with thighs. Right leg forward, left foot back. You're down on your knee. Oh. You can probably tell by now, right? Which side is tighter? It's the weirdest thing to me. My right hamstring is tighter, but my left psoas is tighter. And I'm like, why? What do I do? What do I do? I know what I do. I demo with my left foot forward a lot, which tightens that psoas. And so I create these imbalances in my body. All right, here we are. True confessions. When you're ready, bolt, squeeze the belly in as if somebody were pulling you from your sacrum back. Both hips go back at the same time. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Your blocks are down, whichever way makes sense for you. As you bring both hips back, lift your right foot so that you're just on the heel of that foot. And then start to play. First, think more about the leg, right? The foot is straight out. You're digging your heel in. You're sucking that bone back into the hip socket to engage all of that. And you feel that hamstring really starting to lengthen a lot more. Good. And then the torso starts to come over the leg a little bit more. This again is my tight side. So I'm going to see what happens when I bring these blocks up high and bring my elbows down to it. But it might be too deep for me at this point in the class. It's not bad. I would say it's on my edge. So where is it for you? Is it too deep? Is it okay? Are you starting to struggle? Right? I think that's just a little too deep. So I'm going to come on out. Good. And then slowly, slowly, slowly bend that front leg. Why does the lunge always feel so much better? I'm not sure. And release it. Bring that leg back. Back to left foot forward. I know. Hang in there. Good. Choice number one. You're going to stay with right knee on the floor. Right glute active. Working with this hip. Going back into that nice straight leg, but this time the blocks stay forward, right, as you go a little bit deeper. Choice number two, the right knee lifts, your back foot straight on. Don't turn it out to the side. And then bring, whichever one you choose, bring both hips back. Both hips back. Keep pulling the left thigh bone back into the socket. The blocks are forward, so that you can lengthen through the torso. Squeeze the beach ball between the arms, widen the collarbones, make the back body nice and wide. If you want, lift your front foot so it's just the heel on the floor. Keep lengthening and breathe.
And then plant your front foot and lift your back foot so that you're just on the toes. That's only if your knee's lifted. Good, 2 more right there. Drop your back heel, lift your front toes. Drop your front toes, lift your back heel. 1 more time. Lift and lower. Whew, and then bend both knees back down to the floor. Switch sides. Whoo's that leg feeling open? Right foot forward, left foot back. Watch the depth of your lunge, right? Hands are to your blocks. Remember, your left knee can be down or you can lift it up, your choice. We're gonna go slow. So imagine somebody pulling both hips back at the same time as your front leg straightens to your level. It can be a little bit bent, by the way, but you don't want it to look like a lunge. You don't want it to feel like a lunge. I don't care how it looks. So notice that. Square your hips. Draw that right femur into the hip socket. Feel it. It's almost like, right, a little suction cup. Draws that in, because we're not really looking to pull it out, right? And then your choice. Lift your front toes, whether your knees up or down. And then drop and lift your back heel. Good, switch, back heel closer to the floor, front foot, and down, whoop, breathe. Good, 1 more, lift the front toes, and then lift the back heel. Ooh, yeah. And then release both knees to the floor. Oh. Release your right leg back, and drop back to child's pose or hero pose. Maybe the legs are feeling nice and open and you can just sit back on those hips. Maybe not, maybe it's more puppy stretch. Maybe you're just down on your belly, letting it all loosen up. All right, not too much rest just yet. We'll come to that. Plant your hands. Come to table pose. Flip your toes under. Find a down dog. Make this one a little bit longer. Pedal out your feet. Bend your knees. Breathe, everybody. And then walk those hands back to your feet. Bend your knees and come on up. Every time I come up, I'm like, oh, right, shoulders pull back away from the front body. We spend so much time with the front body closed up, so it just feels great to open all that space up. All right, so this time your feet are hips width apart. Your knees, hips, knees, feet all pointing in the same direction. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart, squat down. It's your squat, don't go too deep. Good. Belly tucks in, tailbone lengthens, all that stuff you know already. Press into your feet. And then just don't do it, but imagine lifting your right foot off the floor and feel the weight in your left foot. And then bring it back to center, push into your right foot as if you were gonna lift your left foot off the floor and drop. Good, 1 more. Go into your left foot, lift your right heel off the floor. And drop down, shift into your right foot, lift your left heel, so if you could pick it up, and down, and then stand all the way up. When you stand up tall. Release the hands. Take your feet wide, goddess pose, I love it. I just do. It's so good for the legs, it's so good for the hips, glutes, arms reach out, think extension. Some disciplines call this 5-pointed star. So imagine, right, crown of the head reaching up, the rest of the limbs reaching out. Find as much length with integrity as you can. So I'm not lifting out of the joints so much, I'm squeezing the joints in, but extending through the arms, through the legs. Inhale right here, exhale, come on down, elbows bend, knees bend. Watch the knees. Don't have to be in a wide stance here to get that same benefit. Don't let the knees drop into the middle. Hold them out there. Good.
Inhale, slow. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as you straighten everything. Exhale for 5, slow down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Inhale up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. See if the arms and the legs can straighten or bend at the same speed. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good thing my favorite number isn't 9. Down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Last one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think I went quick on that one. And down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold your squat, hands down to your thighs. Knees are out to the side, training in the same direction as the feet. Belly squeezes in, chest lifts, tailbone drops. And feel this. Now, I want you to push into your feet. Like, really push. Make a dent in your mat with your feet. Notice that. And then push from there and just stand up. And heel toe, feet. All the way back. Shake it out. How's the legs feeling, everybody? Yeah? Not so bad? Good. All right, front of your mat. Blocks. Let's try blocks at the highest level. I don't do highest level a lot because these little foam blocks at the highest level can be really tippy. So if you feel like they're tippy, lower to second level. If they're up high, I want you planting those hands down, straight down on the blocks so that you don't let them slide out to the sides. All right, I think I made my point. Your feet are back so that your spine is pretty neutral, right? If I were way up here, I'd be pretty rounded. So feet are stepped back enough that my ankles and hips line up, my spine is pretty neutral, my belly tones here. Here's where it's gonna get tricky. Watch the knees. No pain, no pain. I want you to bend both knees like you're doing a squat. And as you straighten your left, your right leg lifts. Both legs straight. Whew. We're staying on the same side for 5. Lower, bend both. And lift 1. Lower both, bend both, squat. Push off the left foot, lift the right. That's 3. Bend. And lift. Last one, bend both. Lift just the right, hold your pose. Now, level out the hips. Reach the femurs, the bones into the joints. Squeeze your left hip in toward the center. Lengthen your torso and breathe. Last option, left arm reaches out and breathe. You got this. Watch that block. Hand can stay on the block, by the way. Lower your hand. Soften both knees. Whew. Hands to your knees and come up to standing. Wee-hee. Everybody like, yes, right? Wow. We have to celebrate these little successes, right? We do what we can do every day. Is that, I mean, that is the best we can ask, is that we do what we can do every day. All right, here we go. Other side. Come on down, hands to blocks, belly squeeze, find your alignment, right? Nice length between the ribs, hands pressing back, straight down, your shoulders are moving away. We're feeling this. This time the right leg stays down, so bend both knees. And then as you straighten the right, the left one lifts. Good, release. and bend. Exhale, lift. Woo, press. And release. This is 3. And lift. Good. Soften, bend. Straighten and lift. Last one right here. Bend. And lift. Good. Now we stay. Toes are pointing down. Belly squeezes up and in. The femur bones draw into the hip sockets. That right outer hip squeezes in. Your arms are straight down from your shoulders. 1, stay here. 2, the right arm goes out. Everybody breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hand down. Both knees bend. Whew. And release it. Come on up to standing. Grab one block. Place it between your thighs and just squeeze your block. And breathe. So I love this squeeze in. It just feels like it resets everything as we draw everything back to center. Maybe roll your shoulders while you're here. That's a lot of work for the shoulders, right? Maybe just bend your elbow and slide your arm around your head. Just slide it over and around. Good. 1 or 2 more on that side. Good. Go to the other side. Go. Shoo. Breathe. 2 more. That's it. Good. Take both arms out to the sides. Take your right arm up. I'm just watching. I have a fan overhead. Bend your elbow. Pat yourself on the back. Keep squeezing your block. Take the left arm out. Internally rotate it. Bring the hand behind. And just see where you go for cow face arms. They don't have to touch. There should be no pain. You can leave the hands more at your sides. You can leave the elbows down more. Just be mindful. Good. Squeeze your belly. Squeeze your block. Good. Release the arms. Shake them out. Same thing other side. Your left arm goes up and back. Your right arm goes out to the side. Internal rotation. Reach behind. This is always my tight side. Good. And breathe. Just find your breath. That's it. One more breath right here. And release. Woo, shake it out. Take your block out, set your blocks aside. We've got one more balance, some balance work to do. So if you want to be near a wall, near a chair, near a dresser, any of that, if you want to move your big double mat out of the way, I'm gonna do that. All right, good solid mountain pose, everybody. Just find your breath. Hands come to your hips. We're gonna start on the right leg, or right leg for me. I'm gonna come off all those cracks there. Good, stand really strong. Now, imagine lifting your left leg without actually lifting it. Feel the right leg really get energized here. And then 1 lift or 2, just stay maybe on the big toe if you're playing with balance. But otherwise, lift your knee. Kick your foot out to me. Bring it back in. Let's see if we can do 5. One side. Push. And bend. It doesn't have to be a high leg. It can be down here, right? 3. And up. Woo. 4. And up. Keep the chest tall. 5. Push. And up. Good. I'm going to add a 6. Hold. Arms out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my God. Woo. And just step that same left leg back Maybe stay on the ball mound, maybe stretch out this front thigh. And let go. All right, here we go. Other side, right? So hands to hips. Just think about lifting the right foot. Engage everything on the left. Notice how that feels when we start to gain that strength, that kind of sucking in around the bone of the muscle to help support everything. All right, here we go. Knee up, kick it out for 5, squeeze it in. 4, woo, 3, find your still spot. 2, woo-hoo, and 1, good. And then last one, see if you can hold right here. Maybe the arms come out for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend it in, release it out, shake it out, everybody. And come on back to your mat. So from the back of your mat, come on down, forward fold. Soft knees. Walk out to down dog. Hold it right here. Inhale to your tippy toes. Exhale, slowly lower your knees. Breathe. Drop down to your elbows. Straighten one leg long, other leg long, a momentary plank, and then drop your hips and come to Sphinx pose. And just breathe. Watch your low backs here, right? Draw the low belly in, lengthen your tailbone down. So those two actions keep so much more space in the lower back. As we just hang out here and maybe wiggle side to side in Sphinx to stretch the low belly to see where we're at. If your low back is chatty, still bring your elbows further forward. Good, couple more right here. Whew. Just rock side to side, just feel that. Good, and then come on down. Make a pillow for your head. I'm turning my head to one side mostly so you can hear me. Lengthen through your legs, press down through your pubic bone, and lift just your right leg. As you lift your right leg, push your left one down to the floor. And breathe. And lower that one down. Switch sides. Push your right leg to the floor, lift your left leg. Don't take the hip bones off the floor. Try to keep them down. And breathe. Release. Squeeze your glute, lift your right. Lower that one down, lift your left, push your right one to the floor. Woo. Lower, lift both legs. Just breathe. Both legs are straight, best as you can. Both knees are off the floor if you can. Breathe, keep pressing into your pubic bone, squeeze your belly, and lower. Woo, shake it out. Come back to Sphinx. Choice number 1. Really, you can stay down. That'd be a good choice too. But otherwise, come on up to Sphinx and see how that feels. And then something we haven't done for a while, if you're comfortable, I want you to lower down, take those hands out anywhere you want, and lift up. And then lower down and move the hands again. And lift up and lower down. And then maybe lift up. Keep moving the hands just to find front body extension. And breathe. And then maybe find the spot that really feels good. It's not so much a yoga back bend, it just feels good. And then squeeze your belly and soften those shoulders away from your ears. And just hold that stretch. No pain. I don't need to say that every time. Zero pain here. There should just feel like a stretch, like a little bit of freedom for the front body that doesn't get enough stretching. For sure. Good. And then bend your elbows wherever you are. Hold. Bend the elbows wherever you are. A little more. A little more. Little more. Keep that chest lengthened and all the way down. Oh, relax your head, neck, shoulders. Bend your knees. Windshield wiper those feet. Maybe turn them one side, other side. Oh, that's it. And then straighten the legs and turn yourself around. Once you've turned yourself around, keep your knees bent, but keep your feet on the floor for now. The temptation, especially after back bending, is to draw your knees to chest. And there's been some conversation in the yoga world about letting the vertebra relax from the back bend before you take it into its opposite action, right? Before you take it into that big stretch. So just letting it settle back down. Keep your left foot on the floor. Bring your right knee to your chest. No hands. Straighten that leg up. Externally rotate the leg. Come to figure four. Your right ankle to your left knee. Maybe bring those knees toward your chest. And then your right hand rests on that inside right knee and just gently pushes it away. Very, very gentle here. Just breathe, everybody. Your left arm can go out to the side. And then easy, squeeze the knees toward your chest to come into a flat back, a literally flat back. And then move it away until you arch. Squeeze them in and push them away. Good, one more here. Just squeeze it in and push it away. Your legs more neutral, hip from that standpoint, a little bit of space behind your low back. Slowly lower your legs toward the left. Your right foot's gonna come to the floor. Once it's there, relax your left foot to the floor. You're in a twist. Your arms can be out T position or wherever they'll fit for you. Just breathe here. Yoga for me is such an integral part of staying sane, of remembering what's important, of getting out of my head, out of the chatter, into the body. From the body, we move through the heart. Iyengar said something that I don't know the quote exactly, but basically said that we reach the spirit through the body, or we reach the soul. I can't remember how he worded it, but that through the experience of the body, we find out more of what is true. All right, so when you're ready, belly squeezes first so we don't yank on our lower back. If you need to separate the legs to lift up, separate them. Otherwise, push everything back to center. You're back in a figure four. Release your left foot to the floor. Release your right foot to the floor. Find that. Good. And when you're ready, left knee to chest. Lift it up. Externally rotate the leg. Drop that ankle to your knee. Bring your knees to your chest. Just pause. You don't really need hands here, I don't think. Maybe your left hand goes to that inner left knee and just gives it a little tug to the outside. That'll deepen your stretch. There should be no discomfort here, maybe just a stretch.
That's it. And you can let that hand go and do that same little rocking motion of bringing the knees in closer to chest, flattening the back, and then moving those legs away a little bit and bringing it in. Exhaling it away. Good, last one, squeeze it in and exhale it away. And then more of a neutral spine. Slowly lower your legs to the right. Let your right foot come to the floor. Relax your left leg, left foot. And just pause here in this nice little twist. Soften your belly, your jaw. Just let this twist do its magic. As our bodies start to take in the whole class, everything we've done since we started, your whole body, every cell, every muscle integrates your practice. Couple more breaths right here. Good, and as you're ready, squeeze your belly. Remember, you can separate the legs or keep them together. Come back to that center figure four. Let your right foot come to the floor. Let your left foot come to the floor. Both knees to chest. Squeeze them in. Stretch your left leg long, 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 long. Let it come to the floor and then stretch your right leg as long as you can. And let it come to the floor. Maybe both heels to both corners of your mat. Your hips nice and even. Maybe squeeze your butt and your legs for a second and then let it all go. And find Shavasana, everyone. Make sure your Shavasana is comfortable. So maybe there's a light pillow under your head, maybe there's something underneath your knees. And then just, excuse me, just let go, just, Let all the tension that is not necessary release from your body into the mat, from your mat, into the ground, into the earth. Maybe for just 2 or 3 rounds of breath, you draw the breath in through the crown of the head, down to the feet. And as you exhale, you reverse from feet to crown of head. Just the opposite of what we did earlier. And as we feel the breath, we restore our ability to feel joy or compassion or peace or love. I think yoga gives us that opportunity as well. We just breathe in and we let go. As thoughts come into your mind, just let them drift by.
As tension sneaks its way back in, let that go as well. Shavasana, the pose of surrender. See if you can be softer still. Start to bring your attention back. Feel the breath deepening. Feel the outlines of your body. Toes, fingers wiggle, curl up, spread out. As your knees come back to your chest. Rocking side to side. And then allowing the knees to roll to one side or the other. Very slowly coming all the way back up to your seated pose.